This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
It's going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
What is going on, everybody? Back again here with the main event review, hosted by myself, Daniel. Hope you guys have had a lovely week. This one recording live on the 20th of February, and yes, reviewing on typical Sunday night, which is probably Sunday morning for most of you all that's listening from this around the world. But lots to get through this week's main event episode. First, I would, start by touching by the events that happened on SmackDown last week, which I kind of, mentioned in the previous episode with Charlotte choosing Tiffany Stratton. And that's obviously going to be leading up to WrestleMania. I basically already gave my opinions on that. And we also have, obviously, Raw to get across and the two matches that happened again on main event. Next week will be the Elimination Chamber. Hope you guys are really excited for that. I'm sure am. Reason being is that I don't know, as I mentioned last week, who's going to be Cody Rhodes' opponent come WrestleMania. And we obviously all saw what happened with the Rock promo, which I guess if I want to touch into that now, it's possibly a heel turn there, but I don't see Cody doing it either. I don't think he's going to take The Rock's offer. But it'd be unbelievably interesting if he did. And I think there would be kind of lots of ways to go about it. I'm not sure if you guys have watched The Boys, but there's a lot of people comparing Cody Rhodes to the Homelander. And for those that don't know who the Homelander is, he's the main villain of The Boys. He is actually perceived as the company guy for Vought, which is the superhero company there. And he very much resembles the same look as Cody Rhodes, the bleached blonde hair, the dressing of the red, white, and blue with the American stripes here. And I feel like this angle kind of is extremely similar to that of Homelander, with Vought being The Rock as the final boss, and him trying to, lure Cody to be a company guy, but a company guy of The Rock. So that's kind of my, opinion for that, when especially when he mentioned that he wanted to take Cody's soul. And I think that's where they're trying to tease is a potential Cody Rhodes Homelander type heel turn, which again, I don't think that Cody is going to take. But it's very interesting because it will lead to, what will happen for WrestleMania and the main event card, depending who he versus or not. And we're going to see how The Rock kind of gets his hands into this one. It does seem as though that he's not really wanting to pursue the WWE Championship, but more to take Cody Rhodes' soul, which for this angle I do find interesting, but at the same time I'm still not really happy about how The Rock all of a sudden decided to thank Cody Rhodes on the debut Raw episode of Netflix, and now all of a sudden we're meant to believe that these guys are friends and The Rock is not seeking for any, championship aspirations or revenge whatsoever. But again, that could all change at the Elimination Chamber, so keen to look out for that one. And speaking of the Elimination Chamber, I thought I'd give also my predictions for next week, given that I think by the time this goes out, we'll all know the results of the Elimination Chamber, and finally we'll have a clear path to WrestleMania 2. So the first match I'm going to talk about is the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn match, and I'll tie that into what happened on Monday Night Raw, as main event does actually speak about it there. Yes, on Raw, we get Sami Zayn making his entrance, looking pretty banged up from that package pile driver, saying that it's been a rough couple of weeks, feels good to be here, and he thanked all the fans for that. This time, Zayn has said that there is no forgiving and forgetting, because it wasn't about, as he mentioned in his previous promo, careers or just trying to get over to the top of WWE. This one was personal, as he tried to end his career. And he also told Owens that he wasn't able to do it, and his neck isn't 100%, but he's going to have enough in the tank for a fight. Adam Pearce basically then comes out, basically says that he is not available to do the match. He said that he's not medically clear, and the answer is no. And then Zayn responds by saying that he's obviously not going to leave the ring until the match was been made, and Pearce then just mentioned that he can't sanction the match, therefore declaring that the match will be unsanctioned. And that's going to be simply incredible. You guys should literally go on YouTube now and have a look at one of the fights these two had on the independent circuit. It's a small reel on YouTube that I've watched with basically Sami Zayn's wearing a mask and he's versing Kevin Owens back over a decade ago. And the spots that these guys had was simply unbelievable. So if we're going to have a non-sanctioned match at Elimination Chamber, it might not be to the levels of that independent circuit match, but these two work really well in the ring together. They obviously have a long history, and this match is simply going to be unbelievable. So I'm keen for the spots that are going to happen in that. And in saying that, for my predictions, I believe this match is just probably not going to have a contest, so a no contest result here. We may see Randy Orton come and interfere the match, or we may see these two not finish up their match, and that will lead on to potentially another WrestleMania feat there. But I think that Randy Orton is most likely going to come back, so I feel like their program between Kevin Owens and Randy Orton hasn't occurred, and that's most likely going to happen. And if it does happen, it'll probably be at WrestleMania, and then we might potentially see Sami Zayn go up against Karrion Kross. And I know that does sound underwhelming, but it feels as though that Karrion Kross is much deserving of a push now, especially with the Final Testament members being released from WWE. This may allow Karrion Kross to kind of push forward into a role that I think he deserves. I feel like Karrion Kross is extremely good on the mic, and there still gives a match for Sami Zayn. Maybe not to the magnitude that people expect, but there is something available for Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. At this point, I think there's nothing to complain about that. But again, this will be a no contest, and I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens with any interferences that do occur. We then get Tiffy and Trishi time against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. This one was weird because I feel like the last time those two spoke, as mentioned, Trish Stratus was literally like feuding with Tiffany Stratton after Money in the Bank. So now they've just all of a sudden become friends. They're probably going to get the win here, most likely, given the fact that Tiff is the champion and Trish Stratus is obviously a Hall of Famer wrestling in her own hometown. So not surprised with this one there. We may see Charlotte Flair come after and do a little bit of to make the feud a bit more interesting, or to make the program a bit more interesting and kind of say a few words or interfere. Who knows? But again, I think Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus get this one done as well. For the women's Elimination Chamber match, I honestly have no idea who the hell is going to win this match. I'll be honest. I think I'm leaning towards John Cena, only because I feel like CM Punk and Seth Rollins are going to have their kind of beef at WrestleMania, and somehow Reigns is going to find his way to get involved in that. I think Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest are going to have their kind of internal feud within the chamber as well. So that leaves basically Logan Paul and John Cena, and I don't see Logan Paul winning the chamber. If that was to happen, I feel like the WWE Universe would have an extreme meltdown. I think Logan Paul's simply there to display some spots and have some good athleticism moments, and that will be something interesting there, because yes, Logan Paul does risk his body. As much as I probably don't like him as a person, I have to say he's very good in ring for someone that hasn't trained wrestling his whole life, as in performing on a WWE stage, and given the fact that he's extremely athletic and is willing to put his body on the line to create a moment for us. So got to give him credit where that's due. And I think that covers the Elimination Chamber from memory of, I think it's those 4 matches. If I have missed one, I'll go back to it. But I think it's just those 4 matches for now. Oh, the women's one. Apologies. So for the women's, I would have to say, That's a tough one too. I think for some reason my heart is leaning towards Liv Morgan. I don't really like that, but I feel as though it's the only one that makes true sense because of the fact that you've got Bianca Belair, you've got Naomi, who have their kind of tag team going on. You've got Bayley, but I don't see Bayley having a feud with Rhea Ripley, especially with Roxanne Perez being there. And I feel like Roxanne Perez being in there is to obviously elevate her as well, but also to continue that feud that's going on with Bayley as well. And yeah, and Alexa Bliss, I think there's some Wyatt 6 program going on and happening there. So I don't see Alexa Bliss winning either. So for me, by default, the only one that really makes sense is Liv Morgan. But am I too excited about that? Not really. But then again, there really isn't an opponent for Rhea Ripley. And this is why I would have much preferred Charlotte Flair getting it and then potentially Nia Jax winning the Elimination Chamber and actually having that match with Tiffany because of the fact that she did take the title off her. But again, I'm not too upset about how it's been booked. I just hope that they find a way to kind of rectify this. And with that match that's happening with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley for the championship belt the next day, we might see some feathers ruffled with, I guess, that WrestleMania card and that title match. So just look out for that. It's going to be extremely interesting. But now we'll, I guess, move on to, yes, the main event matches. The first one being our main event staples, Alpha Academy, the team of Otis and Akira Tozawa, coming up against A-Town Down Under, who just came off a loss to Obafemi. And for those that watched the match, incredible match in my opinion, well booked, and you could see that with Grayson Waller putting the stunner on Austin Theory, there might be hints of a breakup here, but that didn't look like it was the case here on main event, as Austin Theory got the victory. Well, the tag team got the victory with Austin Theory putting an A-Town down on Akira Tozawa. Clearly, with Grayson Waller taking the pin on Obafemi, this looks as though that when hopefully these two eventually split, we're going to see Austin Theory hopefully get pushed and take up to the next level. And the Aussie Icon will hopefully help this out. But again, I think the push for Austin Theory to take it to the next step is well overdue because it feels as though these two are literally doing nothing together. It's just a shame that they're not getting a program on Raw to discuss this feud and to have kind of rumblings of them breaking up, because I feel like they can offer a lot of potential there, and I feel like there'd be a lot of space on the card for that. I'm also surprised that Raw is only filming for 2 hours and 30 minutes. You'd think on Netflix they'd be able to increase to 3 hours, and I feel like an extra 30 minutes would perfectly help this as well, allowing like these kind of feuds to be programmed on the main show as well. So again, they get the victory here. I'm not sure if it means much for them as a tag team, but it definitely reignites the feud that we've had last year when these two were, I guess, on the verge of breaking up, but it didn't end up happening. So let's see how that kind of transfers over to Raw, where they've been transferred to, because we've obviously seen them now on main event and also on NXT as well. As mentioned, we touched off on the Sami Zayn promo that happened on Raw, which was also aired on this main event episode. We then get the match between Alba Fire and Lyra Valkyria. These two have a big history back in NXT Europe, both one from Ireland and one from Scotland, so competing there. And they get a match here on main event, which was surprising to me to see Lyra Valkyria on the card as well, especially being the Intercontinental Champion, but nevertheless an interesting feat. It's also weird to see Alba Fire without Isla Dawn as a tag team, and for her not featuring in the Rumble, Isla Dawn getting the flick. I'm not sure what they're really going to be doing with her. Lyra getting the victory here obviously gives her a lot of momentum going into the Intercontinental Championship match with Dakota Kai, which I'm 100% certain she will win. It's just going to be, I guess, a mysterious guess on who's going to be her opponent come WrestleMania. And I'm also, I guess, intrigued to see what's going to happen with those mid-card belts and who's going to be, part of that WrestleMania feuds between both Michin and Chelsea Green and Lyra Valkyria. As I guess since they've had the belts, they haven't really defended them to the levels that I've expected, and it would have been nice to kind of see them fight them out on some PLEs, just because I think they need to kind of make these belts a bit more significant, not just being, I guess, defended on the main shows. And I know Triple H has been booking a lot of these title defenses on the main brand shows, but I do kind of miss when they were on PLEs, especially with WrestleMania. I'm interested to see how they're going to build up feuds for those titles as well. Maybe this match between Dakota and Kai and Lyra Valkyria might spark a bit of another heel turn for Dakota, but I highly doubt that because she's just turned face. So I think Lyra's going to defend the title here, and then we're going to see what her road to WrestleMania will be, because I'm pretty sure that they're going to have to defend the titles on WrestleMania. So for the first time in probably a long time, I really can't predict exactly what the WrestleMania card is. The only way we really did predict it was from, I guess, the Royal Rumble. But again, we didn't even know that Jey Uso was going to verse Gunther, so that match was kind of a surprise to us. So lots to really look forward to as we pass through Elimination Chamber. We then have, that final match on Monday Night Raw with the main event, with Seth Rollins against Finn Balor, the last qualification spot to enter the chamber. And as we all guessed and probably knew, Seth Rollins getting the victory here in what was a pretty incredible match. Went for, I think, over 20 minutes there, and just shows the chemistry that these two have. They obviously have a long history together, dating back to when Finn Balor won the first Universal Championship, and since then has done absolutely nothing, and he has become just nothing but a jobber, which is extremely frustrating for me. It is frustrating because Finn Balor is exceptional in the ring, and I feel as though that he's not getting any programs that he rightfully deserves. Seth Rollins is obviously the correct candidate to take into the Elimination Chamber, but I feel like they really need to do something for Finn Balor. What I did here, and this one's kind of out of the cards take for, I guess, the next potential WrestleMania match, but I'm hearing that Finn Balor might come up against AJ Styles. And this one is interesting to me because I already see AJ Styles and Bron Breakker sort of feuding as well. I also see Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio having a few tensions within the Judgment Day. And we also did see AJ Styles and Dominic Mysterio also feuding. And finally, we did see Bron Breakker spearing Dominic Mysterio as well. So if we can find a way to get as many superstars as possible into WrestleMania, because I do feel like all of them deserve a WrestleMania feature, what better way to do it than make a Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental Championship? And that's kind of my, I think, extreme hot booking take on WrestleMania, is having that Fatal 4-Way for the title. It make complete sense. It would give Finn Balor an opportunity to feature in WrestleMania. Obviously, him and Dom are not seeing eye to eye exactly at the moment. And as I mentioned before, Bron Breakker and AJ Styles potentially having their program, Dominic Mysterio being involved with AJ Styles, and Bron Breakker spearing Dominic as well. That would make do for an interesting match, to say the very least. And I think that does it for this week's episode of the main event. Again, as mentioned, I'm really excited for Elimination Chamber. And once that's done, hopefully we're able to clear up the road to WrestleMania, as I mentioned at the start of the episode. So extremely keen for that. But in saying that, wishing you all a fantastic rest of the week, and hope you all take care as well. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.